Did you notice in the last video clip how close we were to dragging the ground as we were leaving with our rear levelers? That's been a real problem for us coming and going into our base site here. So what we decided to do was remedy that problem, because every time we were coming in and out, it was real stressful. We didn't want to rip one of those off and cause any damage to the RV. So today we're going to remove those leveler jacks and raise them up a couple inches, so that will no longer be a problem for us. So we'll walk through how you do that and what other problem that it caused for us. And please remember to like and subscribe. All right, this is the Lippert hydraulic leveler, and you can see there's a lot of adjustment holes in it. And as we zoom in here, we can see that it's held on and held in place by 6 bolts. You can see the 2 hydraulic lines coming from the left and from the right, and you can see that they're spray foamed in place. So not a real hard procedure to disassemble. All right, so the first thing that we need to do is remove these foam insulation pieces that hold the lines in place, and that frees us up some line. We're just going to pull these out like this, and that frees up the lines, as you can see. So pretty easy. Now we're just going to use the wrench here to pull these out. Put your arm and hand underneath it and pull the bolts out. Now I'm holding it, and we're going up. The hydraulic rams here are not very heavy, surprisingly. You can easily maneuver them and hold them with really one hand. Now you do want to torque these, so as you can see on the screen, I've got the mounting bolt torque specifications. So depending on what your system you're dealing with and what bolts you're dealing with, these are the specs according to Lippert. And now we repeat this process for the other 3 hydraulic levelers on the Grand Design Momentum 351M. Okay, so since we have to rip out the insulation foam that was in place for each one of our leveler jacks, it was important for us to go back and reapply this sealant. I used Great Stuff multi-purpose black insulating foam sealant, and as you can see, you just spray it around the lines that go in through the frame. Now the frame does have a plastic grommet that goes around to protect the lines, but again, this sealant will help seal that off for any type of rodent or bug or anything that might try to get in there, and provide protection for the hydraulic lines. So we've got our leveler jacks all the way raised up a couple inches, and that's caused another problem. And that problem is now they're too high off the ground. So we decided to build some leveler jack pads. And thanks to Kevin at Paving New Paths for this great idea, we were able to steal his idea, basically change one thing, which instead of using a 1x6, we used a 2x6. I highly recommend you go over to his site, Paving New Paths, and check out his video on that. He walks through every measurement, how to build them exactly. I'm going to fast forward through what we did to build ours and then show you the final results. So I went ahead and made all of my cuts in advance. We made cuts of 4x6s, and we also used 2x6s. This is where we differed a little bit from Kevin's design, where he used 1x6s. We went ahead and used 2x6s just to give us a little extra height, because our normal positioning requires a pretty good amount of blocking. So this is going to work well for us. Here we're just screwing the boards together. Again, just screwing the 2x6s to the 4x6s. And of course we had to do a little sanding, because if anybody knows my woodworking skills, they're not the greatest, so the cuts were a little jagged. We went ahead and sanded these down just to give them a more finished look. All right, so we wanted to put some rubber on both sides. Again, that's what Kevin's design calls for. And so you use horse stall mats. And so here we're measuring the horse stall mats in order to cut them. We cut them with a razor knife and then just screw them on. And last but not least, we're going to spray paint these up black so they look really good and finished. And then we'll apply handles on them, and then we'll show you the final product. And here's the finished product underneath the levelers of the RV. So we've raised the levelers. We're very happy with that. We built the jack pads. Those are working great, gives us great stability in the RV. Overall, not a hard project, but very time consuming. Again, shout out to Kevin at Paving New Paths for giving us the idea for the jack pads. And for all those that are worried or wondering if you could raise your levelers, your hydraulic levelers, we were able to raise ours no problem. We've re-leveled many times since we've done it, and everything works great. Again, we have a Grand Design Momentum 351M toy hauler, and now we have the clearance to come and go and not stress about our leveler jacks. So hopefully you learned that you can do this project as well, and please remember to like and subscribe to our channel.